All praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom, salutations to the hopeful elect that's fighting a good fight of faith and truth and sincerity and wholeheartedly. Shalom to the Akwath, which is the women believers. Shalom to you. All praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. As you see the title on the screen, everything is planned. Jeffrey Sachs exposed, right? Now, your plans is the Most High's plans. Now, you had this devil by the name of Albert Pike. He foretold 3 world wars. But the Bible been spoke about 3 world wars. See, this devil's pride is at an all-time high that he's not even in the right mind to be like, damn, I'm fulfilling everything that the Lord said I was going to do. So, let's start off with this. I got 2 scriptures real quick. What is that? Dang, it just slipped my mind. What the hell? I think it's, well, I forgot that one, so I'm going to do this one. That's crazy. So it says, seek ye out of the book of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai and read. No one of these shall fail. That's the prophecies. None shall want her mate. No other book can compare. For my mouth have commanded it, and his spirit have gathered them. What do that mean that his spirit have gathered them? That the Lord give his mind to all generations. They're going to do his will, which is his prophecy. The Lord will do all his pleasure. And for some reason, my mind has had a brain fart, because the scripture that I was going to quote, but that I was going to get, but I guess I got to quote it because I don't remember where it's at right now. But it said that for everything that is secret should be made manifest, and everything that is hid should come out abroad. I know it's in Luke, but I don't know where it's at right now. That is crazy. But anyways, let's listen up.
Said in 1996 in a book called Fighting Terrorism. He laid out the whole plan. Usually when there are terrible plans, they don't hide them. Hitler...
They sure don't hide them. And the scripture says that will be the case. So shall they make their own tongue fall upon themselves. All them that see them shall flee them away. They look at it like, damn, this really is the devil. People starting to look at him for the devil that he is. Also, and that scripture in Luke is really bothering me right now. I'm really trying to figure out, like, what scripture is that? Like, I know that scripture. But anyways, it said, for your mouth utter your iniquity, and you chooseth the tongue of the crafty. Your own mouth condemneth thee, and not I. Yea, your own lips testify against you. So the reason that we know, so this is how the Lord works. He put the spirit on them to expose it. We hear it and we filter it through the scriptures. And, this devil, we find out so information just by listening to him talk. And then he actually make the scriptures come more clear, which is all the spirit of the Lord. But I'm about to find this scripture because it's really bothering me. (8 and 17). Okay. Because I'm telling you, it was really bothering me. So let's listen.
Wrote Mein Kampf. And I'm not meaning to make simplistic comparisons. I'm just making the point that people say what they're going to do. Netanyahu wrote in 1996 his plan for how he was going to make Israel safe. Brzezinski wrote in 1997 a different book called The Grand Chessboard of how he was going to make the United States the world's unipolar power. So they write the story, and you can go back and evaluate. Did they know what they're talking about? Are they full of BS? Did they cause a lot of trouble? So just on 2 points, Brzezinski in 1997 says the U.S. can expand NATO. Russia will have no choice but to accede. What's Russia going to do? Is it going to become an ally of China? No way, says Brzezinski. Okay, interesting. Didn't quite get that one right, Zvig. Netanyahu has a different idea.
And the thing is that that's the pride of his heart deceiving him. Because as you see what Jeffrey Sachs just said, they basically like, what Russia going to do? What, become an ally with China? And yes, they're very good friends now. Also, you looked at Russia as this weakened country because remember, the Soviet Union disbanded in 1990. I want to say either 89, 90, or 91, one of those years. But they disbanded, so the Soviet Union wasn't really a power no more. But as the Lord said, I was going to put hooks in your jaws and bring you back. Let's read that real quick. Oops. So it says, Son of man, set your face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and prophesy against them and say, thus say the Lord Yahweh, behold, I'm against thee, O Gog. Yeah, so the Lord is saying, I'm still against you, Russia, but I'm going to use you, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and I will turn you back and put hooks into your jaws. So yeah, the Lord is the one that brought out that Soviet Union spirit back in them, because they got to fulfill prophecy. And all your army and horses and horsemen and all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with buckler and shields, all of them handling swords. This is the allies of Russia, and Russia is the head of that alliance. They're literally the big brother of that alliance. So as we continue to read, it says Persia, Ethiopia, Libya. Now all of these countries used to be Hamite countries, but Ishmael inhabit them now. Okay? So it says, with them, all of them with shield and helmet. And in Ethiopia, you still got Ham up in there too. But it says, Gomer, all of his bands, that's Turkey, in that region. Turkey is a vast country. The house of Targamar, the north quarters, all his band, and many people with thee. Be thou prepared and prepare for yourself, thou and all your company that are assembled unto you. See? So the Lord, just like how, how the beast that carrieth the whore. So the Lord, made the European Union give their mind and their strength unto the beast, as it say in Revelation, I want to say 17:11 or 17:12. Same thing with, Turkey and Ethiopia and Persia, which is Elam, which is India, Pakistan, Afghanistan, all the stands. That's Elam right there. All right. With Ishmael and Libya, which is North Africa, which is still Ishmael. So it says, and be thou guard unto them. And then Jeremiah even prophesied about that too. It said, for lo, I will raise up and come against Babylon, a assembly of great nations. We just read about them from the north country. All right. Which is Russia. That Russia is northeast of Jerusalem. And they shall set themselves in array against her. From thence shall she be taken their arrows. What do you think that's talking about? Shall be as of a mighty expert man. None shall return in vain. So when they get shot, they ain't going backwards. Okay. They going forward to the mark.
Yeah. And it's coherent, but it's kind of madness. His idea is, we captured the Palestinian lands in 1967, and we're never going to give them back. So we're just going to rule over the Palestinians.
Now, he says something, right? The Palestinians, right? Yes, they've been in our land for a very long time. Even when we got pushed out, they was in that region. So these devils talking about taking the Palestinians' lands, which is really our land, which actually remind me of this scripture real quick before I get Ezekiel 36. No, I think it's 9. Because they know who we are. but they don't want it. They don't want it to be exposed to the world. So it says, from the top of the rocks I see him, and from the hills I behold him. Lo, the people shall dwell alone, and shall not be reckoned, which means recognized, among the nations. So they talk about the Palestinian lands, and it's really our land. And they also are imposters. But like I said, I was gonna get Ezekiel. We all know how they got the land, the Balfour. And it says, also thou son of man, prophesy unto the mountains of Israel, and say, ye mountains of Israel, hear the word of Yahweh Bashim Shai. Thus said the Lord Yahweh, because the enemy have said against you, aha, even the ancient high places are in our possession. So they're very proud about that. But now they about to give it all up.
The second take, which says we're not going to give it back because God in the year 700 BC or in the year 1000 BC, but written in a book, the book of Joshua in the year 700 BC, told us it's ours. And they're
right. So there we go with the imposters. This is a twofold scripture, but the fold that we're using is what applies today. Back then, it applied to Israelites that wasn't in the spirit of Yahweh Bashim Shai. Okay. Also, in the same fold, you had Herod, who his father Antipater laid with a dark-skinned Arab woman. So he looked like what you would call a so-called black man and a white woman having a baby. So he looked like he was a mixed Jake. So they mingled themselves in there looking like our people, and they was Edomites. So it says, I know your tribulation and I know your works in tribulation and poverty, but these people rule the world. So how can they be? How can they fulfill this scripture? How can they be the Israelites? It said, and I know, but thou art rich, because we have the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, which is going to lead to the manifestation of a kingdom, and true riches, which shall never be destroyed. And I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. And we all know, for the ones who in this truth, that this is the physical counterpart of Satan that's on the earth. So they trying to use what the book of Joshua, which the Lord was talking to us, to go get that land. But they putting themselves in our stead. It's why the Lord say this: woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it, because in the power of their hand, like the scripture says, the earth is given into their hands. So if something is given unto you, you really can use that possession as you want. And they've been doing it. They've been using white supremacy ever since the Renaissance age, through the art, through the history. You know, he's everything. The last samurai, the last Mohican. He is the Egyptian. All right. Now, in the history, he did take on the Egyptians. The pharaohs back in the time of the Greek Empire. Yeah, they was Edomites. All right. They took over Egypt. So, and they covet fields, our land, and also everybody else's land too, and take them by violence, which this whole video was talking about, and houses to take them away, so that they oppress a man in his house, even a man in his heritage. Yeah, they even steal people's identities like ours, and the nations that I mentioned earlier. Like I said, you would think that this guy, like, really no other nation have a history, because guess what? I actually believe that other nations really didn't have a history before I came into the truth. All the things that you learn in school, history is a center about them. Because obviously, if I was an Edomite, I'm going to make sure that history is centered around me too.
People that absolutely believe that as well. Netanyahu spells out very clearly the following story. He says, we're going to keep the land. There will be resistance. Hamas, Hezbollah, other militant resistance. What will we do about it? You can't really fight the terrorists, he says. You have to fight the states that back the terrorists. And Iran.
So All he does is war. That's why the Lord said this about him. He's causing ruckus. He's causing contentions in the Middle East and not even understanding that that's going to be his downfall. But this is what he does. This is what the devil was made to do. And there went out another horse which symbolized power, and it was red. Esau came out red all over like a hairy garment. So the Lord is giving you a spiritual context clue of who it's talking about. And power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth. That's why ever since this devil set up America, and even before then, all right, but from America been in like 93% of its time as a country, as a nation, they've been in war. You can go Google that. They've been in some type of skirmish. If they're not literally in a war, then they're using proxy wars. They instigate wars from the outside. America has always got their hand in something. So it says they are to take peace from the earth, and that they should kill one another. And there was given unto him a great sword, which is the same blessing that our forefather Isaac blessed him with. And now going back to, them being imposters and all of that, and they having our land in our possession, the Lord said that would be the case. Even going to the Palestinians, because they talking about we got to take the Palestinians out of our land. It ain't none of y'all's land. So saying they shall fall by the edge of the sword. That's talking about us. And shall be led away captive into all nations. This is why we're scattered to this day. And Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the time of the Gentiles be fulfilled. And we are approaching that point. So the scriptures is on point if you have understanding.
Is the central one in his mind.
But interestingly for Netanyahu, he lays out one by one. Yes, of course, Iran is the central one in his mind, but so too is Iraq under Saddam. He supported Hamas.
Right.
So too is Bashar al-Assad in Syria. So too is Somalia. So too is Muammar Gaddafi in Libya. He laid it out, and he at various times listed the countries. And one list that showed up in the Pentagon just after 9/11 was 7 countries: Iran, Iraq, Lebanon, Syria, Somalia, Sudan, and Libya.
All of those countries that he just named, majority of them is Ishmael. Iran is Elam. Now, what did the scripture say? The scripture says, like I said, all he's doing is falling into the Lord's hands. They said that they're going to join together. Behold, a horrible vision in the periods thereof from the east, where the dragons of Arabia shall come out with many chariots, and the multitude of them shall be carried as the wind upon the earth, that all they which hear them may fear and tremble. Also the Carmanians, which is an ancient name. All right. They took that name back in 1935, I want to say. I think they changed their name to Iran in 1935. Anybody watch this video, fact check that for me. It says, also the Carmanians raging in wrath. So that's Elam right there. Iran, India, all of that. Afghanistan, Pakistan, Kazakhstan. And it said, also the Carmanians raging in wrath shall go forth as the wild boars of the wood, and with great power shall they come and join battle with them. So Esau talking about, conquering these 7 countries with Iraq, Iran, Ishmael, and Elam. All right. Libya, Lebanon, which is a mixture. That's what actually Arab or Arab come mixed. And then Sudan, Somalia, and Syria, all Ishmael and Elam, man. And it says, shall waste a portion of the land of the Assyrians, and then shall the dragons have the upper hand, remembering their nature, and if they shall turn themselves, conspire together in great power to persecute them, which is America and Israel. The least of the flock shall draw them out.
And you know what the plan was? 7 wars in 5 years. The U.S. using Israel? No. This is Israel using the U.S. as if our military is in their hands, which
it is. Israel is the pimp. America is the whore. All right. Whatever the pimp say, America do. That's why we always bring out the scripture, the least of the flock should draw them out.
In effect, it is. You take Wolfowitz and you take Feith and you take these neocons and you take Netanyahu. They game planned the whole thing out. Well, I regard Netanyahu as having been our greatest disastrous president of the 21st century because he ran American foreign policy for 20 years and he cost us trillions of dollars. And where is the Middle East today? War in Syria, war in Lebanon, war in Palestine.
And that's because they're doing everything that the Lord wants them to do, because they're causing the war to end all wars. So let's get a quick couple scriptures. So it says, Yahweh bringeth the counsel of the heathen and not. So a council, obviously, it's a game plan. When they be sitting in these summits talking about what they're going to do, everything that Jeffrey Sachs is exposing, this was a council. Yeah, we're going to do this in the Middle East. We're going to take over the land and stuff like that, right? The Yahweh bringeth the counsel of the heathen to naught. He maketh the devices of the people with none effect. The counsel of Yahweh standeth forever. And the counsel of Yahweh is that you're about to go into captivity. You're about to lose World War III. And Israel, the remnant, the elect, is about to be set up. The kingdom of heaven is about to be set up. So all you doing is causing, war, which is the war that's going to end you as a nation. The counsel of Yahweh standeth forever, the thoughts of his heart to all generations, which is his mind to all generations. That's why you continue to fulfill the will of the Lord. The Lord is in control. And it says, there is no wisdom, nor understanding, nor counsel against Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. Even when you think that you have the upper hand, all you're doing is fulfilling the will of the Lord.
Unrest in Iraq, war in Yemen, chaos in Sudan, chaos in Somalia, chaos in Libya. Great job, Bibi. You did a terrific job. So this is, to my mind, what this is all about. These people have ideas. How many wars has China been in the last 40 years? Let me count them. That would be 0. Not one war in 40 years. When was the most recent war that China was in? January 16 to February 16, 1979. 1 month in a conflict with Vietnam, which had to do actually with Vietnam having overthrown a government in Cambodia.
Well, that's the thing. So he's using an example of basically China, but of course China haven't been in that many wars because they're not the red horse that take up peace from the earth. They're not the ones who was blessed with the sword. They are not the wicked, even though they're wicked, but they're not the wicked. Okay. And also, all Esau doing, and I've been saying this for years, is playing into the Lord's hands. Everything he's doing, he's fast forwarding his destruction because he's fulfilling prophecy. And I just can't wait till he bring forth this micro C-HIP, man, because the digital infrastructure already here.
Okay, 1 month. We are not at dire risk from China. China is not mass murdering its population. But we are gearing up in the United States for war with China.
And also, so like this is pretty much the end of the video. We got what we needed. But I just wanted this to highlight that your plans is the Most High's plan. So the second woe is past, and behold, the third woe coming quickly. And he's talking about China right now, right? And guess who is good friends? Russia and China. So I'm going to end it on this because this is the destruction. And your own allies are going to be a part of your destruction. So it says, for the Most High have put in their hearts. When we go up in this chapter, it's talking about the 10 horns, which is the European Union, which is the allies of America. So your allies with Russia's allies is going to shoot fire on you. For the Most High, this is the Lord putting his heart in all generations, fulfilling his will. For the Most High have put in their hearts to fulfill his will and to agree to give their kingdom unto the beast until the words of the Most High should be fulfilled. And it's almost fulfilled. And the woman which you saw is the great city which reigneth over the kings of the earth. So the Lord, as he said in Jeremiah, Babylon have been a golden cup, but now that cup is not golden no more. That cup is brass. Okay, that cup, I don't know what the lowest metal is. I'm gonna say copper. I don't know, but I just know it ain't gold no more. And everything is happening planned the way that the Lord said it was gonna be. And I was meditating on this too. So I'm gonna end it on this statement. You know, if this don't build up your faith, because as you see, as you get closer to the end, prophecy is getting more plain. The Lord is making it more plain to the point that scoffers can't even scoff no more, even though they got a job to do. If that's their lot, that's what they're going to do. But they see it. But seek ye out the Lord while he may be found, and shalom.